Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This here is Cinema Classics.
It is.
What are we talking about?
You're making me cringe.
I'm making you cringe?
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're so crass. So we're talking about cringe comedy
Yeah.
and crass comedy.
Okay.
You don't seem...
I don't see the difference.
I'm going
Do
to tell
help
you.
me.
I'm going to
All
tell
right, first of all, we'll illustrate these with Borat and the package.
Okay, so the new Borat movie, Borat 2.
Yeah.
Just brevity's sake.
Right.
And the package, a quiet little sleeper.
Let's see anybody. Let's call in if you've seen this.
A quiet little sleeper that my 8-year-old discovered on Netflix and that I subsequently fell in love with. The difference between crass comedy and cringe comedy. Cringe comedy makes you squirm in your seat because of awkward social interactions, awkward social situations. So Borat,
Good.
when Borat
Good, yeah.
goes into a right-wing political rally and starts messing with people, you start to squirm in your seat. You're seeing people behave awfully. They're clearly too stupid to know they're being the butt of this elaborate joke, which it looks like anybody would know. Right?
Look at when he runs down the street yelling, "The Holocaust is real," happily. This is cringe.
Right.
It
Makes you. But it's about social situations.
Yeah.
Crass comedy to me is more about juvenile humor. Genital jokes, fart humor. Like it's about the baser things that we still find
These
humor
are
in.
real B movies that you're talking about.
For sure. But they go way back, like Caddyshack, I would think,
Sure.
is probably the grandfather of the crass comedy. You know, it all starts with, and I'll give credit to my wife here. She's the one that helped me figure this out. You know, so you got these guys coming off of Saturday Night Live back in the early 70s. And, you know, that was this hotbed bastion of this kind of crazy humor, right? Somewhat political, but also just new and fresh. Caddyshack comes out, and they do this thing where the Bill Murray character puts a Baby Ruth in the swimming pool to clear the swimming pool.
Right.
They all think it's a piece of excrement floating around
Okay.
there. They all scream, they run out of the pool, he gets in there and he starts eating the candy bar. See, it's making me laugh already.
That's crass.
Yes.
All right.
It's not cringe, it's crass.
Well,
Because we're talking about bodily stuff.
all right. Well, how would you factor in Monty Python in this?
Well, Monty Python is a brilliant mashup of a lot of stuff. I think they're more absurdist and surrealist than they are either cringe
Okay.
or crass.
Okay.
You know, there's an intellect at work there that stops it from becoming one of too many things.
Okay. So if you were thinking about TV, you might think about Family Guy for cringe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And crass.
And crass. And how about Seinfeld?
Seinfeld is slightly cringe.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas
yes.
when that kind of humor is unfettered from network restrictions, you
Okay.
get Curb Your Enthusiasm, you get Larry David full on, and then you get maybe the greatest cringe comedy that's ever happened. Right? But I want to talk about the package. Did you watch it?
Of course I did.
Okay. So I want to recommend this movie to people.
I look at the kid. He's a teen.
Yeah.
Cuts off his penis
By accident.
by accident.
With a
he's out
butterfly
with
knife.
He's out with the buddies.
Yeah. They're
And-
camping.
You're right. They're camping, and they all kick in to help him survive because it's
Right.
his life.
Right. So he's lifted out of the site by helicopter, right,
Yeah.
to a hospital. But his friends are left to, one, find the penis,
Yes.
then safely transport it back to the hospital so it can be reattached. Now, all manner of craziness ensues. All the while, completely tapping into this ridiculous, still ridiculous kind of fear / revulsion / fascination we have with the male member.
Oh yeah.
And it's beautifully orchestrated. The performances by these young teens, great.
Yep.
Right? Nuanced, silly.
There are a couple of girls who come along with the three guys. They hadn't planned on.
Yeah.
And so there's a so there's a bit of gender politics going on.
For sure.
Right. Which
But
I
not
think is a
over-
very good part of this
It
film.
is. It's great, and it's not hitting you over the head with it.
No.
Because what's underlying all these, what's driving is the narrative is this attempt, right? All this like I said, this anxiety that we have around castration, having to touch, another man having to touch another man's penis, even if it's severed from the body. There's so much smart commentary happening here that it's easy to kind of get lost in the
And I think the film has to give credit for the fact that we start out with the men dominating, barely allowing the girls to go along.
Right.
And then you have the girls intervening.
Yes.
And actually helping with the gender business you're talking about.
Exactly.
Till it evens out on the film. The responsibilities and the maturity of both sexes even out.
Beautifully put. Right?
Yeah.
It's a great little movie. Nowadays we're always, Netflix has that trending now kind of thing, and certain films rise to the top of that. I'm surprised that this one hasn't, but I definitely want to get it out there.
Yeah. And
no pun intended.
Can you make as much sense out of Borat, or is it just
universal what's to be
satire?
said? It's necessary viewing. It's not as great as the first film, but I think that it's an important view. I think everybody should check Borat out. Sacha Baron Cohen is still one of the preeminent comedians of his time. It is still kind of shocking to see how foolish people and how gullible human beings are. I think that he levels that, though, with the right heart here.
Oh, he does. And I would have to recommend people watching Borat, if only to see toward the end the segment with Rudy Giuliani. Now there is cringe worthy.
For sure.
I mean, America's
And
mayor.
Giuliani doesn't need Borat to make us cringe.